Hi, it's Mrs. Hickson, and we're going to do our final item on Lauren's budget. We're going to be doing something called graphing. One of the most important parts about Excel is that even though we're doing these amazing calculations and really helping Lauren out, knowing where she's making mistakes, we still have to be able to communicate it to other people or make it really simple. And so one of the benefits of Excel is that we can take all this data and turn it into easily understood charts and graphs. Now, when I'm in Excel, in order to access those charts and graphs, I'm going to go to the Insert tab up here. And right away, we're going to look, these are our tabs, Home, Insert, Page Layout, Formulas, Data, Review, and View. We're going to look at the group areas. Remember, we always call these a group. We got group tables, group illustrations, charts, sparklines, filter links, text, and symbols. We're going to be focusing in the chart area. We can see right away we have a column chart, a line chart, a pie chart, a bar chart, an area, scatter, and other charts. And later in this class, we'll actually do some activities to help you know when to use them. But in this class, in this particular assignment, we're going to focus on a couple of charts that I'll give you specifics of how to access. Now, my first instruction is for me to go ahead and help me see how Lauren's expenses are. So what it's telling me to do is I want to do a column chart. This tells me right away that if I'm here, I'm going to be going to Insert. I'm going to be coming over to Columns. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to try to find her monthly expenses. Now, if I look at this, I know that I'm going to have months as one of my axes, and I'm going to have the totals down here as the other axes. So I'm going to take a look and see. I have a 2D column, which just means my colors are going to be regular. Then I have a 3D, which gives me a little bit more thicker amount there. Now, it hasn't really told me which one to use, so I probably am going to go with this one. Now, I want you to notice something in this is that when I'm looking at the 2D column, there's more than one color. Now, I'm only looking at one thing. I'm only looking at total expenses. So when I pick my 2D column, which I will in just a second, if you don't select anything, the computer just throws everything together and hopes for the best. Well, you can look right now when I just insert it. This doesn't make any sense. There's a whole lot of colors, there's all sorts of lines, and this just doesn't make any sense. Well, when we're doing Excel, we want to go ahead and we want to know exactly what we're measuring. And what I'm trying to measure is every month her total expenses. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. And instead, I'm going to think about that. And I'm going to go over to my area that I'm looking at. I want to look at our total expenses, so it's down here on C24. I know that in January I had $453, in February here, etc. And so there's all my data here. I also need to have the months. So what I'm going to do is my instructions say I can use a control key to do two things at one time. For example, if I go ahead and highlight January through December, and I use my control key, and then I come down to the 24th, line 24, and I have my control key still holding, and I highlight my data. Remember, I'm only going to December though, I'm not taking the total. And I've gone ahead and I still have my control key. And now I'm going to come up to my Insert. I'm going to go to my column. I'm going to choose this, and all of a sudden, look what happens. I held both of them, and so I have the money here. Excel automatically puts the amounts based on your data. Since I highlighted January through December, it automatically placed it down here, and the numbers, if I look at $453 in January, sure enough, if I look at my amounts here, that's about halfway between 400 and 500. So Excel automatically placed it there. Now you'll notice over here, there's this color that says series. It's called the legend. Now I only have one item that I'm measuring, which is just total expenses. So this really isn't very necessary. And so in my step 2, it says remove the legend because I'm only comparing 1 year. This isn't helpful. I'm going to highlight it and just delete it. So I've deleted that. Then it says I want to move my chart to a new sheet because right now it's blocking everything. Now I can do this really nice by going up into my ribbon, and it says Move Chart. I'm going to click on Move Chart, and it's going to say, where would you like me to put it? And it says, I want to create a new sheet. And I want you to call the new sheet 14 expenses. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And all of a sudden, it didn't really disappear, but it put another tab right up here. And now I have my chart. And it says, I want to go ahead on number 4, I need to add some data columns, because even though you and I can kind of see that it's January, we probably want to go ahead and explain what it really means. So I have a couple of different ways of doing this. I can go to Chart Layout, or I'd rather go on the Chart Tools. And I have the Layout, which tells me I have a title. I have the axes, the data tables and the area there. And I'm going to go ahead and add a data table to explain what these things are. So I'm going to go over to my data label, and it doesn't really say where I have to put it. I'm going to just say I think I want it. No, I don't really like that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to add my data to the columns. That's kind of ugly looking. Let's try something else. It's in the center. That's all right. Let's try something else. Outside end. Oh, I like that better. And I can make some choices here. I can have some border. I can do some things like that. I don't think I like that. I think I'll just say no fill. And I'll say close. So now you can read it better. I'm actually telling you, you don't have to guess, you actually see the amount there. Okay, so I have the columns, and I'm going to change the font to 14 point. So I'll go over here to my layout, my design. Sorry. Go to my format, and I am going to go ahead and make it. Let me go over here for a second. I'm trying to get to the right place where I can make this a larger font. Hold on just a second. There we go. And my data table. Sometimes you just have to kind of hit them there. Let's go ahead and put that in. So once I went into my layout and I got my data table highlighted, then I can go in and I can change it to 14. So it's a little bigger. So now I can read it a little better. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put a title in there. I'm going to go back to my layout. I'm going to go into my chart title. And on my chart title, I'm going to go ahead and do a centered overlay. And I'm going to go ahead and call it 14, expenses by month. And when I type that in, and I'm going to go to, it's already highlighted, so I can go back to home and I can make it into 28. There we go, just like that. My data table's a little funky there. And I'm going to go ahead and change my style. I'm going to go over to my design view. And I think I would like to, I think I'm going to put it in red style. Here's my style 12. Let's see where I can find that. I'm going to come down here, look for red. Style 12, there you go. That's much better. It jumps out because remember it's red, and that's what I wanted to go ahead and do. And then I'm going to return, but I'm going to go ahead and save this real quick because I don't want to lose my data. I've done a lot here. I'm going to go ahead and save this as step 5. Okay, and then I can work on the balance of it. But this is how I went ahead and did that first couple of steps through step 6.